You mentioned the history lesson there around virtualization, how 15 years ago there was no virtualization, now virtually everything's virtualized. We agree with you that containers and Kubernetes is going to change that game for the next 15 years. But what's interesting about VMware, what made them successful was they could add virtualization without requiring code modification.
Right.
And they did it kind of under the covers. And that's a concern customers have. I have developers out there, they're building stacks, they're building code, I got pre-existing legacy. They don't really want to change their code.
Right.
Do you guys fit into that narrative?
We do, right. So every customer makes their own choice about something like that at the end of the day. I mentioned Splunk. So at the time that we supported this media customer on Splunk, Splunk had not yet provided a container-based version for their application. Now they do have that, but at the time they supported KVM, but not native containers. And so unmodified Splunk, unmodified application, we took them from a batch job that ran for 23 hours down to 1 hour based on accelerating and on our hyper-converged appliance and running unmodified code on unmodified KVM on our gear, right? So some customers will choose to do that, but there are also other customers, particularly at scale for transactionally intensive applications like databases and messaging and analytics, where they say, we could preserve our legacy virtualized infrastructure, but let's try it as a bare metal container approach. And they discover that there's actually some savings from both a business standpoint and a technology tax standpoint or an overhead standpoint. And so, as I mentioned, most of our customers actually.
So there's real